from the Department of Communication in Philipsburg. This is a special edition of Inside Government with Cedric Peterson.
To our audience here at home and around the world, you are now Inside Government. Welcome to our next series, and this is going to be a very special one. As coming up in the month of October, Sint Maarten is going to be embarking on its first reading festival. This is an initiative that is being kicked off with assistance from the Netherlands, which the organization there is called Biblionef Netherlands. They, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, the University of Sint Maarten, and the Help Our Children Foundation, will be taking the initiative of bringing Sint Maarten its first reading festival for 2024. That's going to be taking place on October 18th and the 19th. So my first guest in the series that we're going to be having the conversation about this reading festival is none other than the president of the foundation, Help Our Children's Foundation, Mrs. Angela Richards, who is no stranger to our interviews, even though we have had not a conversation in a minute. Angela, it's great to have you once again in the program. Thank you so much for joining me.
Cedric, it is my pleasure. It's good to see you. It has been a while. Yes, has been a while.
It's good to see you too. It has. So tell me, before we get into talking about the reading festival, it's been a minute. How have you been, and what have you been doing since the last time you and I got a chance to speak?
Well, I have been busy, since the pandemic and other things that happened prior to that. The foundation was kind of dormant in the sense that we didn't have any actual activities. And after 2017, when everyone started to realize that we do need each other, my committee and the board decided to reactivate our Help Our Children Foundation. So We started with a new board. We have new members and fantastic team, very dynamic. And when the opportunity presented itself by Biblionef that they wanted a collaboration with us to get the reading festival off the ground, we, happily made ourselves available. So I'm happy because this is what I do. This is what I love. And with the people behind me, my team, we just needed to take this opportunity to serve our community again. This reading festival is, as you said before, is the very first one. And it is kind of a pilot that we're trying out to see if we can make it an annual activity.
Sounds good. Angela, let's get right into it. What are the main goals of the Reading Festival for this year?
The main goal is, first of all, to get our young people more involved in reading. Reading is a way to dream, to read, to create a world through books, through reading. And this is a global thing that our youngsters are not reading as much as they need to. And we thought, why not? We need to help the schools, we need to help our teachers with making a fun activity around the concept of reading. So when the idea came about, we were really happy to participate in this activity. And Sint Maarten is no different than any other place. So what happens in the world, we experience it as well. And we wanted to reach out primarily to our elementary schools and start there, where we can encourage them through games, through puppet shows, through artists coming and reading their work, through teachers being trained to encourage youngsters to read more. So it is not just the reading festival, but it's all the things that happens behind the scene, where the library, of course, plays a very important role, where they have the material and, you can go there and borrow books. But it is something that we, as community social organizations, we need to focus on getting our children in a better place.
Absolutely. And I did remember, pardon me for not including the Sint Maarten Library in my introduction, who also serves as a key stakeholder in the Reading Festival for 2024. Angela, how do you envision, can you expand on that for me? How do you envision the festival benefiting children and schools in Sint Maarten?
First of all, Cedric, this is not just an activity. This is a special activity, meaning when you engage youngsters in reading, they can make it part of their upbringing, part of their life, as young as they may be. It makes them become creative, and they can read and travel in their mind and experience the things just by reading. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be traveling, but you can read in your mind and travel in your mind. And you can, create all kinds of fantasies or extraordinary things. Just the other day, my husband and I, we were talking. And he said to me, Angela, did you remember when Keisha, our daughter, she drew a bus flying in the air? And her teacher says to her, Keisha, a bus does not fly. She says, in my story, it does. So, it tells you that there's no limit to the creative thinking of a child. When you expose them to reading, they make up their own stories, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely. I don't see this festival being this one and done, but in fact, an annual exercise that we are embarking on as a small island developing state. So I ask this next question: how do you see the Reading Festival evolving in the coming years if we are definitely looking to do this on an annual basis?
We are going to try it, right? We hope it triggers the mind of the youngsters. That's why we came together with the schools also, for us to focus and embrace the importance of reading. And with these 2 days, which is October 18th and 19th, we are going to expose the youngsters to reading, but in a fun way. Meaning, it is not just sitting and reading from a book. It is doing activities. It is engaging with other children, but doing things with the word. You can do puzzles with the word. You can do games with the word. You can imagine an apple and describe it with the word. So it is something that it is an activity around reading, around the brain, around your imagination. And it has to be in a festive way that you're going to encourage youngsters to take part in it. Because in school, when you have to read, that's kind of boring, isn't it? They put you to sit and then you read a book. So we want to take it from another angle. We want to make it fun. So you're going to have puzzles, you're going to have games, you have twisters, you have all of these stuff. And then we're going to do it in such a way, set it up in such a way that you can go from station to station. And then you get a stamp, you get a little print or something like that. And then we have the jumper castles, of course. Every child loves jumper castles. And we want to make it a fun day.
Absolutely.
A fun day with reading.
Can you describe the role of the Help Our Children Foundation in organizing the festival?
Oh, of course. We are a small group. I am very happy and proud of my members. We are 5 persons. And our task, specifically in this festival, is to reach out and encourage our business partners in our community and individuals who care about the community to contribute towards this. It is very difficult and it's a challenge to get people to just give. But we, being the Help Our Children Foundation, we have over 24 years of experience. So we do have a network. We do have partners who we can count on, who we can approach and ask them to assist. They know we are serious. So we do have a reputation of being serious. And that's why we took it upon ourselves to be the go-getters, to go and get the money. It is not money that you can just knock on the door and it's there. You have to write letters. You have to approach people. You have to speak with people. You have to let them know that this is important because this is the fundamental part of building a nation. So in that aspect, Help Our Children Foundation is very instrumental in making sure that the funds are being challenged to the foundation, and that this way we would be able to help as much as we can. Of course, we can't do it only locally. It's also money from Biblionef from the Netherlands, who are sponsoring the books, which are very expensive. So together, in collaboration with all the other team players, we are really asking the community to, if you feel that this is important for you to invest in a child, to give them the opportunity to read, to live, to learn, to experience, to dream. You know, this is a beautiful project to do that.
So definitely has been a challenge for you as an organization because, again, most organizations have that difficulty in giving these days. Was that the only challenge that you encountered as a foundation trying to raise funds for this initiative? Or were there any other challenges that you faced?
Yes, we faced the challenge that after 2017, we were not able to do a grand fundraiser. You know, people are hurting, and it is quite a challenge to go out in the community and to get funds. You know, before EMA, people were more comfortable, I must say, and they had more finances and resources, and it was easier at that time. But now things are getting really tough. Businesses are not doing as well as they expected or were doing before that period. So it is a challenge. You have to be creative in ways in asking people to have confidence in you and to give you the money that you need. It is not just giving you the money. You need to give them feedback. You need to let them know we appreciate you, and give them feedback. Thank you so much. It was a grand success, and without you, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So it is a communication and a collaboration, working together as partners, you know, to safeguard and protect, especially the very, very needy in our community, which is our children.
I'm speaking to President of the Help Our Children Foundation here in Sint Maarten, Mrs. Angela Richards. We're talking about the first reading festival that's going to be taking place on October 18th and 19th, 2024. Sint Maarten, stay with me as my conversation with Angela continues. We're going to get in more to the raising of funds, how important it is for community to be involved in such an effort, and so much more. You're inside government. Stay with us.
Do you know there is such a thing as teen dating violence? Seriously, there is. When your boyfriend or girlfriend is controlling your every move, trolling you online, checking your social media page, recording you without your permission, or forcing you to do things you don't want to do, this is abuse. If you find yourself in this situation, please talk to someone you can trust. Your parents, school counselor, or the police.
This message has been brought to you by Women's Desk.
If you're just joining us, you're Inside Government, and in this series, I'm having program number 1 with President of the Help Our Children Foundation, Mrs. Angela Richards, who's joining us here. The Help Our Children Foundation is a key stakeholder in the upcoming first ever Reading Festival 2024 that's going to be taking place on October 18th and 19th. She's one organization that's a part of the group of stakeholders in this Reading Festival. Angela, we left off talking about how important it is for organizations to get involved when it comes to fundraising at this magnitude. The question that I have for you next is concerning community involvement. How important is community involvement in fundraising efforts for a festival of this nature?
It's very important, and it does not always have to be about money. Of course, we are also looking for volunteers, for persons who would want to give their time to come and accommodate the young people. Especially, we are having students from grade 1 on the Friday, and these are the very small ones. And we do need some eyes, extra eyes, to be able to cater to this event. We are expecting over 500 children on the Friday, which is not easy, but we are going to be having a system that the children will be shuttled back and forth from their schools. So we won't have at any given time 500 children on the premises. It will be that they go from station to station, so maybe each school would probably spend an hour and a half, but then you rotate it. So one would come at 8, one would come at rotating. So that way we keep a steady flow, and we give the volunteers who are going to help also some breathing space that they can help. We are really looking forward to public participation. If there's any way a person who has written a book, a children's book, and you would love to read your book to the audience, then sure, give us a call. You can always go to the library and speak to Miss Maryland. She would gladly help you so that you can put your name on the list, and then that you can be a reader. You can be a reader at the function at the university, or you can be a reader at the schools. We have enough opportunities that we can make use of our community to embrace this event.
How do you collaborate with local schools and educational institutions for this event?
Well, we have Miss Aurelie Boyrad, and she is from the government, Department of Education, and she is a kind of a coordinator, so she has contact with all public schools. And the teachers, for instance, they were trained also by Biblionef, trained to do this reading festival. So through her, we have contact with the schools, and then she would send a roster or coordination letter asking them to be involved in it. So it is a real local movement that we try to get our children on board to be part of this.
There's, of course, we have authors and publishers in our own society, so the question is always going to come up. Can you talk about, the possible partnerships with local authors and volunteers in order to make the Reading Festival a success? Is there any consideration for that?
Yes, we have approached. We have committees. So I'm the more financial committee, and then we have the library who does the reading and the setting up of the reading activities. So they were in contact with local authors, and they have a list of persons who will be coming to the event or going to the school. So when it is time for that part, she has a list and she knows exactly which authors would be going to which school and which authors would be at the university's premises.
Outside of the festival, Angela, what role do you think the community plays in fostering a love for reading?
It is for that reason we thought it was important that we don't only keep the reading at school, and that's why we thought a second day, which is October 19th, is a Saturday, that it would be very encouraging if parents, mom and dad, would come to the university event together with the child so that they can encourage the child to read. Cedric, we as Caribbean people, and I'm going to speak for St. Maarten people, we sometimes don't encourage and support our children enough. We would take them to a baseball game, drop them off, and pick them up. We need to start doing these activities with them. Read with them. Read a book before they go to bed at night. Make it a habit. And you would realize that a child follows suit, and he or she would want to read before retiring to bed at night. So it is an opportunity for parents to become more involved in the life of their children. You know, if you are involved in the development of your child excels because she gets the reinforcement from home that you're doing great, you know, and your mom and dad is part of it. That's what it is, to be part of the upbringing and development of your child, and to give it 100%. And not when you feel like, but always. We all have busy lives, but this is important for every parent, grandparent, a person who takes care of children, a guardian. If you have a Saturday and it's the 19th of October, please come out with your children to the reading festival. It is the ages between 4 to 12 years old. So it's elementary school students. I ask everyone to make an effort to come out and support our youngsters. They are going to be the future. They are the future. They are going to be our presidents and our prime ministers in the next 20 years. So we need to invest in them.
Absolutely. Future aspirations and impact of the festival. In your opinion, Angela, what long-term impact will a festival of this nature have on our community?
Cedric, every child deserves to have the knowledge to be able to read and comprehend. And this is the starting point. We have too many children already who are dropouts from school. Why? Because they find school boring. But it's because it's the investment that we did not make when they were little toddlers, to teach them to read. You can read any book. You can read a fiction book, any book you can read. You can read a book about any subject. So there is a subject for every child, for every person. Reading could never be boring if you use the reading as a tool to equip yourself and to learn about other things. Reading is what you do, accelerate in reading, then the experience. You can get the experience through the reading. So it is all mental. You know, if we would invest in our children and give them the opportunity that they can create and transcend in their mind and become whatever they want to be, that would be a perfect thing. So we have to start at a very, very young age to encourage our young people, and we would see, as a community, we would be rewarded.
Absolutely.
With the fruits and the seeds that we have planted by giving to our children the opportunity to read, to imagine, to be fascinated about and transform lives with just by reading. If we would only make use of it. I can't stress it enough.
Angela, what advice would you give to a young person who is watching this program for the first time, might not be familiar with First Lady Angela Richards, first Sint Maarten female to be a part of the Miss Universe pageant from Sint Maarten? These are historical points on your resume. And now a member of a foundation, president of a foundation that is instrumental in making sure that community gets involved, raising the necessary funds. And if a young person wanted to pursue a career in a non-profit fundraising, what advice would you give to that young Sint Maartener?
Cedric, it is a difficult question in a sense that sometimes a child develops according to their environment. And that is a pity, because that environment is conducive to who the child is going to become. But it not necessarily have to be that way. Just by reading is an opportunity to step out of that environment mentally, to travel. If you are in an environment where there are no books, then you're not getting the opportunity to become creative in thinking about things. So in principle, it has to do with the environment. And we, as mature people, must create the environment that is conducive to our children, opening up their mind. Years ago, going to the library was for us a little getaway. Now today, children don't read any books anymore. They're on Facebook, looking on games. They probably don't even read the instructions. They just go straight into the game. We have to make use of the digital world, of course, but we have to do it in an educational way. Not only the bad things, but also the things that enhances a child's mental capacity. We have to make it our business that the environment that our children are brought up in is a safe environment, and safe environment in the sense that they can explore in their mind and have a good school environment, a good home environment. It's not easy. It's not easy. It sounds easy when I say it like that. But if you love reading and you should try it out, and there's no place for you to read, go to the library. Go at school. There's some little corners at school. They have the new way that you have the reading corner. Pick up a book and read. It gives you peace, quietness. I know it's something that doesn't really fit in this time, but we have to do it. To save our youngsters, we have to do it. With poverty, the state of poverty in the world, in Sint Maarten, we have to encourage our children to want to be better and do better. And we can only do it through reading. So I would give to any young person, be the best you can be. And start by reading. It doesn't cost you anything. Read. It is enrichment to your knowledge.
President of the Help Our Children Foundation and key stakeholder in the upcoming Reading Festival for 2024 that's going to be taking place on October 18th and 19th, Miss Angela Richards. Angela, thank you so much for joining me in this edition of the program in the first episode within our series promoting the festival that's going to be taking place. It's good to see you again, and thank you so much for being a part of the program.
Likewise. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
And to our radio listeners, television viewers, and online viewers, thank you for tuning in and being a part of our conversation with Miss Angela Richards. If you've missed it, be sure to catch video on demand at the official Facebook page of the Government of Sint Maarten, facebook.com/SXMGOV. YouTube channel. Be sure to get to the YouTube channel of the Government of Sint Maarten. And for audio playback, be sure to tune in to Sint Maarten Gov Radio 107.9 FM. On behalf of the organizers, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sport, and all the key stakeholders involved with the upcoming Reading Festival for 2024, and all of us here at the Department of Communication, I'm Cedric Peterson. Thanks so much for tuning in.